That pendejo didn't even know he was raising my kid. My best friend told my fiancée that in Spanish. The only problem for them? I understood every single word. I just pretended I didn't. I smiled, nodded along like an idiot, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And I found it at the rehearsal dinner. When I answered back, fluently, perfectly in Spanish, you should have seen their faces. Forks hit plates. Conversations froze. What came next? Absolute chaos. Hey, Reddit, buckle up. I'm Ezra, 31, and I just lived through something that could have been pulled straight out of a telenovela. I'm a regional sales manager for a freight logistics company in Phoenix. Good job, good paycheck, decent life. Paid off Honda Accord, nice 2-bedroom apartment, 23 grand in savings. Nothing flashy but solid. Then came Isabella. We met at some warehouse industry mixer 4 years ago. Me talking shop, her running the event like it was the Oscars. She had this glow about her. Long, dark hair, that kind of smile that made you forget your own name. Mexican-American, 28 at the time, worked in event planning. She moved through a room like she owned it, and honestly, I was gone from day one. She dressed like money, spoke like charm, and had me wrapped before I even realized it. 4 years later, I proposed. Rooftop dinner downtown, string lights, violinist, the whole cinematic setup. The ring cost me 3 months' salary, and the second she said yes, she was already FaceTiming half her contact list. The engagement post was up before dessert. Still, I was in love. I thought I'd won the jackpot. Then 2 months ago, she told me she was pregnant. I was ecstatic, like tear up on the phone with my sister level happy. I started picking out baby names, planning a nursery, all of it. I thought we were building something real. So I wanted to do something special, something big. I bought her a car. A white 2021 Audi Q7. Safe, stylish, perfect for a new mom. Cost me every cent I had, plus a loan I'll be paying off for years. But the look on her face made it worth it. Or so I thought. She cried, screamed, hugged me like I'd hung the moon. Posted about it nonstop, said I was the perfect man. I believed her. 2 days later, she was sleeping with my best friend, in that same car. And that best friend? Andrew. My brother from another mother. 9 years of friendship. The guy who helped me move, drank with me after heartbreaks, sat next to me at my dad's funeral. I thought he was family. Turns out he was just another snake in a suit. We used to joke about having a double wedding one day, our kids growing up together, backyard barbecues, family vacations, the whole picture-perfect best friends forever fantasy. Sounds great, until it doesn't. When I asked Andrew to be my best man, he lit up like I just handed him a trophy. Gave this whole heartfelt speech about brotherhood, loyalty, how honored he was. Swore he'd make sure my bachelor party was one for the books. I believed every word. But here's the twist no one saw coming, the one thing that ended up saving me. I speak fluent Spanish. Yeah, the white guy from Phoenix that everyone thought barely knew how to say hola. Turns out I grew up speaking it. When I was 7, my parents' marriage exploded. Lawyers, court dates, screaming matches. My mom said my dad was a loser, my dad said she was crazy. I was stuck in the middle. So my abuelito, Miguel, my mom's father, took me in. He'd come to the States from Guadalajara back in the 70s, built a quiet life here, and for 6 years, his house became my safe place. He filled it with the smell of tamales, late-night soccer games on TV, and endless stories about his childhood in Mexico. We only spoke Spanish at home, and by the time I moved back with my mom at 13, I was fluent, accent and all. But kids can be cruel. Back in school, they mocked me for the accent, called me Speedy Gonzales, threw around the usual garbage. It stuck with me more than I'd like to admit, so I just stopped. Stopped speaking Spanish, stopped mentioning it, let people think I was just another regular white guy. Even Isabella never knew. Neither did Andrew. And that secret, my little childhood scar, turned out to be the best weapon I never knew I had. Fast forward to the bachelor party, 3 weeks before the wedding. We kept it chill. Isabella was pregnant, so no Vegas, no chaos. Just a group of friends, a few beers, music, laughter. Andrew was there, of course, along with my brother Kyle, my coworker Tony, and a few college buddies. Around 9, Isabella texted me, saying she wanted to stop by before heading to her own bachelorette thing. When she walked in, every head turned. Tight black dress, little baby bump, glowing like she was straight out of a perfume commercial. She looked stunning. Everyone greeted her like she was already family. The Audi I'd bought her sat right outside under a streetlight. My pride, parked right there like a symbol of everything I thought we had. Andrew was the first to go up to her. They stood by the bar, talking, laughing. It didn't look weird. Why would it? They'd known each other for years. Still, Tony leaned over and said, "Dude, they seem close." I shrugged it off. "They're friends," I said. He gave me a look. "Yeah, friends." After a while, Isabella said she needed to go. Andrew offered to walk her to her car. It was sweet, I thought. Protective. They were gone maybe 6-7 minutes, long enough for Tony to mutter, "Long walk to the car." I laughed it off. When they came back, Isabella kissed me on the cheek and said she loved me. Andrew clapped my shoulder like a proud best man. Everything seemed normal. 15 minutes later, I went to the bathroom. That's when it happened. As I was washing my hands, I heard voices, faint, coming from down the hall. Around the corner near the emergency exit nobody ever used. Spanish. A man and a woman. I froze. I peeked out and there they were, Andrew and Isabella. Standing close, faces lit by the exit sign's red glow. She was touching his chest, laughing. He said, "That was incredible earlier, in the new car. We should do it again next week when he's at that Dallas conference." My heart stopped. Isabella whispered back, "We need to be more careful." My mom asked why the Audi smells like cologne. And then Andrew said it, the sentence that cracked my world in half. "That pendejo doesn't even know he's raising my kid." Everything inside me went quiet. My pulse, my thoughts, my breath. I had to grab the wall to keep from falling. The baby, the car, my best friend. All of it, one giant lie. I wanted to storm out there, throw him through that emergency exit door, end it right there. But I didn't. I just stood there, forcing myself to breathe, waiting for them to finish talking, waiting until my face didn't look like the rage I felt. Because now I had something better than revenge. I had the truth. I walked out like nothing had happened. Andrew back with the guys, laughing at some play on TV, Isabella already gone into the night, Kyle arguing about basketball, Tony watching me with those eyes that suddenly seemed to know too much. I took my seat, forced a smile, sipped a drink like a man playing a part while the rest of me unraveled inside. My mind replayed 4 years of tiny moments, anniversaries, jokes, the way she'd said "we," until it all blurred into one bitter, pulsing truth. My best friend and my pregnant fiancée were sleeping together in the car I'd emptied my savings for. I left the party early with a dumb excuse, wedding stress, and sat in my Honda for half an hour, feeling every plan I'd made evaporate. I couldn't go home that night, so I drove to Kyle's place across town, showed up at midnight, and he let me in without a single question, because some things don't need asking. We drank until 3, and I told him everything, every Spanish word I'd heard, every crooked timeline that suddenly made sense. Kyle's face went hard. His first impulse was to march over there and confront them, but I knew that would ruin me more than it would them. An assault charge would wreck my life and still leave room for denials. So we sat in the quiet and schemed instead. I checked dates, mapped my Dallas trip, February 9th through 15th, and the math hit like a punch. Conception had to sit in that window. I spent Monday driving surveillance routes, parked 3 spaces down from Andrew's condo, and waited. 53 minutes later, the white Audi I'd bought her rolled out, hair messy, clothes changed, and the proof sickened me. She came home hours later like nothing had occurred, kissed me, asked how I was, and I lied. Meanwhile, I started stitching together a plan that would give me what I needed. Irrefutable evidence. That's how Tony connected me to Carlos, the grizzled former cop turned private investigator, because when you're being lied to by the people you trust most, you learn that sometimes you need other people to help you see the truth. He had tiny cameras the size of shirt buttons, the kind of old cop tricks that make messy secrets unbearably visible. Phone pings, GPS dots, video that actually holds up in court. We met at a Denny's on a Thursday and he didn't waste time. "How long until the wedding?" he asked. 2.5 weeks, I said. "Plenty of time," he replied, and then asked what I wanted him to get. Everything, I told him. Every meeting, every touch, every text, make it airtight. He wanted $2,000 up front. I put it on my card, debt seeding itself into my future, but worth it for proof. Over the next fortnight, he delivered like a grim Santa. Photos of Andrew's car at our complex, videos of meetings at his place, GPS logs showing my Audi parked outside that condo for hours on end, 7 different nights, and a phone history filled with more than 200 texts. The worst thing was a parking lot video from a Thursday. Isabella pulls in, Andrew comes down, and they kiss. Not the friendly, quick peck kind of kiss. A full, open-mouth, make-no-effort-to-hide-it kiss in my car. In my car, like they were daring me to be stupid. I watched that clip until the edges of my vision blurred. When Carlos handed me a flash drive full of everything, he asked if I wanted him at the rehearsal dinner. I said no. I had a different audience in mind. That's when I called Billy, a filmmaker friend of my sister's who shot weddings for a living and had spent a year in Buenos Aires learning Spanish. He grinned when I told him the plan. "Savage," he said. "I'm in. 1,500 for the night, and the footage is yours after." The pieces were clicking into place. Proof. A Spanish-speaking videographer, my brother's quiet steel beside me. But I wanted one more thorn, a way to make betrayal hum in front of everyone. So Monday morning, 4 days before the rehearsal, I did the petty perfect thing. I called the dealership about trading in the Audi. The number they gave me of 44 grand reminded me I'd already lost 8,000 to depreciation. While I was on the line, I added a dash cam installed to the order, front and rear. Continuous recording, cloud backup, something for safety, I said, and dropped the car off the next morning while Isabella was at a client meeting. They fitted the discreet interior cameras that night. She never noticed. By Wednesday, the little devices had paid for themselves. At 12:47 p.m., my phone pinged with a motion alert. I opened the app. Andrew's condo parking lot. Andrew slid into the driver's seat, Isabella beside him, sunlight spilling through the windshield. The dash cam caught everything, every word, every glance. "He leaves for Dallas again next month," she said in Spanish, fixing her lipstick in the mirror. 3 days. "We can go somewhere nice this time. Maybe Sedona." Andrew chuckled. "Sounds perfect. Does the idiot suspect anything?" "Nothing," she laughed. "He's too busy worrying about his stupid job. Honestly, sometimes I feel bad. He tries so hard to make me happy." Andrew smirked. "Maybe you should marry him after all, then." They both laughed, that easy, cruel kind of laughter that makes your stomach twist. "God, no," Isabella said. "The intimacy's terrible, but the money's nice, and after the baby comes, I'll have child support locked in." I saved that clip like it was gold. 3 copies, hidden in different places. Proof, insurance, justice, waiting to happen. Thursday, my brother Kyle came over. I showed him everything. The footage, the texts, the GPS logs, all of it. He just shook his head, eyes wide. "This is going to be nuclear," he said. "Mom's gonna lose her mind." "Good," I told him. "Everyone needs to see exactly who they are." By Friday morning, rehearsal dinner day, I slipped into my role like a pro. The perfect fiancée. I woke up early, made breakfast, even brewed her favorite coffee. She came out rubbing her eyes, surprised. "What's all this?" she asked, smiling. "Just wanted to do something nice," I said. "Big night tonight." She kissed me, told me she was lucky, said she couldn't wait to marry me tomorrow. I smiled back. "Tomorrow," I said, "is going to be unforgettable." I got to the restaurant early, Rose's, our favorite place, to set up. Billy, my videographer friend, showed up with 2 cameras. "You good?" he asked quietly. "Never better," I told him. People started rolling in. My mom, stepdad, Isabella's massive family, cousins, aunts, uncles, all of them buzzing with excitement. Andrew walked in with his fiancée, Monica, looking like the world's most confident liar. She clung to his arm, completely clueless. For a second, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Isabella arrived last, glowing in a red dress that turned every head in the room. Her mom fussed over her hair, making sure every curl sat just right. She came straight to me, kissed me in front of everyone, and whispered, "Tonight's going to be perfect." "Yeah," I said quietly. "It really is." Dinner was warm, noisy, full of laughter. Her dad gave a speech about family and tradition, proud tears in his eyes. Then dessert came, and I gave Hector, the restaurant manager, the nod. The lights dimmed. Billy stood up, camera in hand. "Hey everyone, I'm Billy," he said cheerfully. "I'll be filming the wedding tomorrow, but tonight I just want to get some special messages from the wedding party." Everyone smiled. Sweet idea, right? He started with the bridesmaids, then the groomsmen. When he turned to Andrew, the best man, I could already smell the whiskey on him. Andrew stood, glass in hand, grinning. "Ezra's been my best friend for 9 years," he said. "Been through everything together. Can't think of anyone who deserves happiness more." Everyone clapped. Billy smiled. "Beautiful, man. Hey, I heard you speak Spanish. Mind saying something to the bride in her language?" Isabella's face lit up. She thought it was sweet, romantic. He grinned, puffed up a little, and said in slow, clear Spanish, "Isabella, my amore, I can't wait until this charade is over, and we can finally be together properly. You looked beautiful in my bed this morning." A few people gasped softly, thinking it was some poetic thing they didn't understand. Isabella giggled, playing along. Then she answered, in Spanish too, "Be patient, my love. Just a few more months, then we can do whatever we want." Laughter rippled through the room. Everyone thought it was cute, playful banter. But Billy kept filming. I sat still, silent, watching them spin their own noose. Andrew kept going, his voice louder now, sloppier. "It's almost too easy," he said. "I almost feel bad." Isabella laughed, shaking her head. "Don't," she said. "You've earned it. I trained him well. Can you believe he bought me a $52,000 car?" And that's when the air shifted. Like everyone in the room had suddenly stopped breathing, waiting for the next sound to make sense of what they'd just heard. They were laughing, easy, careless, convinced no one could understand them. And I let them finish, let the room smile and nod and believe the moment was sweet. Then I stood up, and the noise cut out like someone had hit mute. Everyone turned. They expected gratitude, maybe a toast. Instead, I spoke in perfect Spanish, the same Guadalajara cadence my abuelo taught me. "Gracias, Andrew, for that very honest speech. And Isabella, gracias for finally telling the truth about us." Silence fell so fast the air felt thick. Isabella's face drained of color. Andrew froze with his drink halfway to his mouth. I kept going, my voice steady, especially the part about the child support checks. Their laughter died. Her mother clapped a hand to her mouth. Her father jumped to his feet. Kyle's grin split his face like he'd unwrapped Christmas early. I switched to English so no one could pretend they hadn't heard. "My best friend just told my fiancé he can't wait until this charade is over so you two can be together." She said, "Be patient. The child support checks will start soon." Then I walked to the TV. Hector, the manager, watched as I plugged in the little USB Carlos had given me. First clip, the parking lot kiss, time-stamped and impossible to deny. Second, the dash cam footage. Them in my Audi, whispering about being careful, laughing about how dumb I was. Third, Isabella entering Andrew's building on half a dozen dates. Faces, dates, times. The room shifted into a hurricane of whispers and sobs. "Ezra, stop," Isabella begged. "We can talk." I scooped the drive back into my hand. "No," I said. "We can't. The wedding's canceled." Andrew stood. A mistake. And Kyle was faster, slamming him back into the chair like a judge banging a gavel. Monica, Andrew's fiancée, went pale, then furious. She dumped her drink over his head, slipped off the ring, and walked out, leaving the table in a chaos of shouting and crying. Isabella's father hauled her toward the door, scolding in Spanish. Her mother wailed. My own mother held me, stunned and weeping. Andrew sat soaked and stunned, like the life had just been yanked out from under him. I walked over, close enough that he could smell the whiskey on his breath. 9 years, I said quietly. 9 years of friendship. He tried to stammer some excuse. He tried to make it about me being dramatic. You never thought I was smart enough to understand, he said. Then I did what I'd planned, petty and perfect. From beneath the table, I pulled a small gift box, handed it to a trembling Isabella, and watched her open it. Inside, a tiny onesie with 2 words printed in big, childish letters. My dad's name is Andrew. Laughter, ugly, relieved, incredulous, bubbled up from Kyle and a few cousins. Isabella's mother crossed herself. Her father yanked her harder toward the door. One more thing, I said, loud enough for every ear. "The car is being returned to my possession." She screamed it was hers. I smiled and said the title was in my name and I'd only let her drive it. Andrew finally found his voice, but by then the room had already decided who he was. "Man, you're making a mistake," Andrew said, his voice shaky, desperate. "The baby might still be yours. DNA test says otherwise." I cut him off, my tone steady. 0% match. It wasn't true yet, but they didn't know that. I turned to the room, my voice calm, almost too calm. I also called all our wedding vendors. Canceled everything, the venue, the caterers, the photographer. Everyone knows the situation. Good luck explaining that to your guests. Isabella was hyperventilating. Andrew just stood there, hollow, like his world had caved in and he was still trying to breathe through the dust. "Oh, and Andrew," I added as he started to slink toward the door. "I called your office. Sent them the videos. HR wants a chat Monday morning." That part was true. Investment firms hate scandals. They're built on trust, not tabloid fodder. "And Isabella," I said, turning toward her, "your boss got the same package. Something about integrity and client trust." That was true, too. I'd sent it that morning. They left. Isabella in tears between her parents, Andrew walking out alone, dripping, humiliated. Billy kept his camera rolling until the door shut behind them. Then I turned back to 70 pairs of eyes. Friends, family, co-workers, all of them frozen somewhere between heartbreak and disbelief. "I'm sorry you had to see that," I said quietly. "But I needed everyone to know the truth. The wedding's canceled. I'll refund anyone who gave us gifts. Thank you for your support." My mom rushed over and hugged me like she hadn't in years. Kyle clapped me on the back, proud. Tony, God bless Tony, just grinned and said, "That was savage, man." I shrugged. "They earned it." Hector, the restaurant manager, shuffled over, awkwardly holding the bill. About the check?" "Put it on my card," I said. "Everyone eat, drink, and enjoy. Just because the wedding's off doesn't mean the night's wasted." Hector grinned. "Drinks are on the house. That was better than any telenovela I've ever seen." And somehow the night shifted. People stayed. They laughed between tears, raised glasses, found relief in the wreckage. What began as heartbreak turned into something almost celebratory, like everyone was rooting for the phoenix rising from the flames. The next 72 hours were chaos, but a controlled kind of chaos. Sunday morning, Billy sent me the full video package. I made copies, tucked them away, insurance. Monday, Andrew's firm called. "This is Brian from Sentinel Investment Group," the voice said. "We received a video in HR." "Yeah," I said. "It's real. All of it." "We take ethical violations seriously," he said. "Andrew's on leave pending investigation." They fired him the next morning. Breach of ethics, character concerns. Turns out nobody trusts a man who betrays his best friend. Isabella didn't fare better. Her company called her in, showed her clips from the video, and let her go. Wedding planners don't keep clients when they become the face of infidelity. 3 major clients had already pulled out. The video never went public, not officially. Billy uploaded it to a private YouTube link, shared only with close family and friends. But whispers have legs. Within a week, the story had circled through Phoenix, through offices, brunch tables, and group chats. Everyone knew. Not famous, just infamous enough that they couldn't go anywhere without the weight of what they'd done. I saw Andrew once that week in the produce aisle of the grocery store. He looked like a ghost, all gray skin and sleepless eyes. When he saw me, he froze. I didn't say a word. Just looked at him long enough for him to understand, then walked past. He didn't follow. Smart man. By Wednesday, I got the Audi back. The title was in my name, so I had it picked up from his parking lot and sold to CarMax the same day. 43 grand. 9,000 lost, but it felt like cutting off something rotten. I used the money to pay off the car loan. 29,000 gone in one click. 14 left. The wedding cancellations had cost me about 12. Venues don't refund you the day before. Caterers keep their deposits. Florists and bands don't care about heartbreak. But standing there, debt-free, no car, no fiancée, no fake friends, I realized something. I'd lost almost everything. Except my peace. And that was worth more than any deposit. Between the car's depreciation loss, nearly 9 grand gone, The $12,000 in non-refundable deposits and the chaos that followed, I was out roughly $25,000 in total. My savings took a hit, but honestly, every penny was worth it. You can't put a price on peace of mind. That Thursday, my phone rang. The caller ID said Miguel Santos, Isabella's father. I hesitated for a second before picking up. "Ezra," he said, voice heavy with guilt. "This is Miguel. I wanted to apologize for my daughter's behavior. What she did was shameful. She's disgraced our family." His tone carried a weight I almost felt sorry for. Almost. "I appreciate that, Mr. Santos," I said quietly. "I need to ask you something," he continued after a pause. "The baby. Will you be involved at all?" "No," I said, firm and final. "That baby isn't mine. Andrew's the father. He needs to take responsibility." He was silent for a few seconds, then spoke again, softer this time. "I understand. But if there's even a chance?" "There's no chance," I cut in. "I heard them. I saw the messages, the photos. That child is Andrew's. Isabella knew it, and she still tried to trap me." He didn't argue, just sighed, a long, defeated sound that told me everything. "You're a good man, Ezra," he said quietly. "My daughter didn't deserve you." "No," I replied, "she didn't." We hung up. I never heard from him again. After that, everything fell silent. The friend group, the same people who'd stood by us through every holiday, every birthday, every trip, sided with me completely. Nobody defended Andrew. Nobody excused Isabella. The group chats went dark the moment either of them tried to message. Invitations stopped. They were erased from every circle they once belonged to. Andrew tried calling me once, the Saturday after the rehearsal dinner. I let it ring twice before answering. "Ezra," he started, voice shaky, "we need to talk." "No," I said flatly. "We don't." "Man, please." I messed up. I know I messed up. "But 9 years, Ezra. 9 years of friendship." "Yeah," I interrupted. 9 years that you threw away." I could feel the anger rise in my chest. "You don't get to ask for forgiveness now." "I was drunk," he started, but I cut him off. "Then maybe you should have stayed sober." "You're dead to me, Andrew." I hung up, blocked his number, and never looked back. Isabella tried too. 2 weeks later, a long, desperate text popped up on my phone. She blamed Andrew for manipulating her. Said she'd made a mistake. Said maybe the baby was still mine. Said we could work through it. I didn't reply. I didn't even type a word. I just saved the message, proof, in case I ever needed it. Because some bridges, once they're burned, shouldn't be rebuilt. Some stories don't deserve a second act. They could figure their own lives out. I was done. And hey, if you've made it this far, if you felt every twist, every gut punch of this story, hit that hype button. It tells YouTube that this one deserves to blow up.